Hey guys, Chrono, and today I'm coming to you again with a budget deck profile, and the one that I'm coming to today is ABC Dragon Buster. This is a deck that I've seen quite a bit of success with. I've played it for a number of years now, and I really think you guys are going to enjoy this profile. You can instantly be competitive in the current meta with this deck. So let's get started with the monsters. So I go ahead and I play the regular staples, so 3 assault cores. Now, one thing I don't think people recognize is that there's a bottom effect, and they really need to remember this when they use the field spell. Like, for example, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add 1 Union monster from your graveyard to your hand as its bottom effect. So these cards are really good from getting, when they leave the field and going to the grave, they give you cards back. So I run 3 A's, then I run 3 B's. B is probably my favorite card, sending to the grave, and if you look at the bottom, this is why. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add 1 Union monster from your deck to your hand. So when you equip it, it's really useful to get another card from your deck into your hand, which is great when you use ABC Dragon Buster's effects. Okay, then I play 3C Crush Wervins. Notice if this card leaves the field, you can special summon 1 Union monster from your hand. So each one has really cool grave effects, and they also have really cool effects to protect monsters on the field, but you really don't end up using those. Now, many people wonder, well, why 3? Why do you play 3 of each? And I'm very worried about, because I play Pot of Desires, of banishing my cards. And I've one time banished 2 of the 3. And so I always make sure I play 3 just for that reason. Now, I also play in this engine Galaxy Soldier. And one of the reasons I really play this card, it allows me to get a card to the grave. So if I have Union Hangar on the field, and I've sent one of my necessary ABC Dragon Buster materials to the grave off of Galaxy Soldier, I can get ABC Dragon Buster out. So this is really useful. And I also play Cyber Dragon Infinity, so it's a really good play with that as well. All right, then I play 3 Gold Gadgets. Really great card. Just because it gives you an extra special summon of a machine monster. This goes really well with this deck. It's a wonderful card to go with. Then I play 2 Silver Gadgets. Again, I'm always looking for that extra special summon of a level 4 machine monster. Okay, I do run the Brilliant Fusion Engine, so 1 Gem Knight Garnet. And then this card is extremely useful, Performage Trick Clown, just because you get it to the grave, you pay 1,000, it comes back. And so it's really useful for making different kinds of rank 4 plays. Really great card. And then this card I use a lot. This has actually won quite a few duels for me. That's right, Eltian, I believe that's how you pronounce that, Cyber Eltian. This card is so good, and the reason it's so good is its text at the bottom here. So to summon it, you banish all light machine monsters from your field and graveyard. So this is like a last-ditch effort. And then this card's attack and defense becomes the number of monsters banished for its special summon times 500. No big deal, right? It's the bottom effect that is so good. When this card is special summoned, you send all other face-up monsters on the field to the graveyard. It doesn't say destroy, it says send. So it's a condition where they just go to the grave. It doesn't target. All the cards just go to the grave that your opponent controls. This is your out if you have nothing left. This is a really great card to have. Okay, so that's it for the monsters. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the spells. Obviously, 3 Union Hangars. This is such a good card. You have to have a way to get to this because this is what gets out your cards from the deck. So you play this, you grab a Union monster. When you normal summon or special summon a Union card, you can connect one instantly from your deck to that card. So it's really easy to make ABC Dragon Buster with it. Just because that card is so important, I also play 3 Terraformings. It gives you the filled spell to your hand. And what's nice about this deck, there's no waste because of ABC Dragon Buster's effect, which is one of the reasons it's one of my favorite decks to play. All right, I run 2 Brilliant Fusions. And the reason I run this card is the fusion monster that hits the field allows you to get another normal summon in. So it's another way for you to make ABC Dragon Buster. So 2 Brilliant Fusions. For draw power, I have 2 Pot of Desires, which really isn't that bad. This deck, it works really well. And then I also play 1 Upstart. For the Cyber Dragon Infinity, I do play 1 Instant Fusion and also 1 Transmodify. And so it's a really good way to get out my other rank 5 if I can make Cyber Dragon Infinity, which I actually make often. 1 Monster Reborn. This card's too good not to run, just because I often tribute my first ABC Dragon Buster, and then I do all kinds of crazy plays to my opponent on the next turn. And then if I draw this, I get another one on the field. It's just so good. Okay, this card's great in this deck, Burial from a Different Dimension. If you don't know what this card does, you target up to 3 of your banished monsters, and you return them to the graveyard. So like, let's say I've got Pot of Desires. I banish my 10. If this is in my hand, I can go ahead and play this and then send 3 of those banished monsters back to the graveyard. And then I can make ABC Dragon Buster right away. This is a great card, but I only play 1. If not, I feel it gets too brickish. So only 1 is good. 1 Foolish, really good to make ABC Dragon Buster. Okay, that's it for the spells. Now for the traps. All right, so I run 2 Solemn Strikes. Card's really good, just because you can negate the activation of a certain card, or I'm sorry, negate the summon or activation of a card. It's just really good to stop your opponent's plays. Then also I do play 1 Solemn to negate just more stuff. And then the same thing with Solemn Judgment. This card is just so good, especially if your life point's already low. This is a great card. And then finally, 1 Dimensional Barrier. I think this is still very underutilized. Many people are going so heavy with links. However, there's a lot of fusion or Xyz or even pendulum effects. That's the big reason I love this. I stop so many pendulum decks I face with this card. It's a really good card. Okay, so that's the main deck. It's 41 cards. Now to go to the extra deck. Of course, I'm playing the big bad boss. 3 ABC Dragon Busters. You really need 3, especially for the way I play the deck, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And this card is just so good. On either player's turn, you can banish a card. You don't need polymerization to make it. And then you can do all kinds of stuff on your opponent's turn by getting rid of the card as a quick effect. It's such a good card, and it's so cheap. Okay, 1 Genius Link. This card's great because it only takes 2 machines to actually make it. It's actually got some pretty cool effects. My favorite one is if 2 cards hit these, the points or the zones that these are pointing to, you get to add a level 5 monster to your hand. That's really good because, or level 5 or higher. So that gives me cards that I need to make Cyber Dragon. It's a really great effect. This is probably my favorite Link monster to include in this deck is Decode Talker. I only play 1. I find that's usually all that I need to get the board set up that I need. And it's a really good generic card, and it's got great protection. This is a great card to have in the extra deck to make your plays. Then I also have one Abyss Dweller. I've been running into Mermail decks lately. This stops a lot of what they're going to do. So the Abyss Dweller is definitely necessary. I actually find when I don't run this, I run into somebody who beats me because they're so heavily using their grave. So this is a really good card to stop that. Then I make sure that I do play one pair Cycloid, or Cycloroid. The reason I play this card, it's the instant fusion. Notice it's level 5. It's also a machine. So this gives me a way to make Cyber Dragon Infinity. Speaking of which, I also play one Cyber Dragon Nova, and then of course one Cyber Dragon Infinity. It is very common for me to make a Cyber Dragon Infinity, ABC Dragon Buster, and Decode Talker board. It happens way more than I would have thought when I first built this, and that's powerful because you have two ways to negate something basically. And then when it comes to Decode Talker, he protects himself in some way. So that it's just a great board if you can make it. All right, of course I have to have the Gem Knight Fusion that gives me that extra normal summon. Another normal summon is huge when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! This card is fantastic. Then I have Diamond Dire Wolf, another really great card. This is really good for spot removal and then getting cards to the graveyard and then bringing other materials out. So I use this card quite often. Then I've got number 101 Silent Honor Arc, just to absorb an opponent's monster. The only problem I feel with my extra deck is the fact that it targets often. That is the one issue I feel like I have with it. And then I play one number 39 Utopia, and that's only for number S39 Utopia, the Lightning. This gets over a lot of monsters because you can make its attack 5,000. During the battle step, they cannot target it. It's a fantastic card. Okay, and then for draw power, one Bujinte, or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it fits. You get rid of your hand, and then you get to draw 2 cards. Often, I've got 1 card in my hand when I make this, send a material, and I get to draw 2. So it's a +1. So I only play 1 of these. I don't use it very often, but every now and then I do. So that's the deck profile. As you can see, I've got 41 cards for the main deck, 15 cards for the extra deck. I am maxed out in both capacities. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you some plays with the deck so you can get yourself familiarized with my build. Okay guys, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my 5. And not a bad hand at all. Okay, so if you take a look here, this is the very first hand that I actually come up with. And so the first thing that I would actually do, I would go ahead and play Union Hangar. So then I would say the effect of Union Hangar. And then that's going to go ahead and give me one of the necessary pieces for ABC Dragon Buster to my hand. So I would definitely grab A. Which is really helpful. Alright, so I've got that necessary material now. Okay? So then the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and play Terraforming. And then that's going to give me another Union Hangar to the hand. So I get another one. And what's nice about this, I'm loading up my hand, which is fantastic. So then I would play Union Hangar again. So I go ahead and play it, and then I say the effect again. And what's nice about that, that is not once per turn that first effect. So you can get another piece to the hand. And this time I'm just going to have B to the hand. So I know in some way, shape, or form, I have all the pieces that I need to make the big boss monster of my deck, ABC Dragon Buster, which is fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and play Brilliant Fusion. And what that allows me to do, I'm going to go ahead and send my Gem Knight card. If I can find it here. Okay, so I send my Gem Knight card to the grave, and then I'll go ahead and send one of my other materials to the grave. And I'm actually going to send one that I don't use often, so C. Because again, I want that secondary last effect of each Union monster. So I go ahead and I put that in there. And then that's going to give me the Fusion monster. Okay, so that comes out. Okay, so what's nice about that, I now have 2 summons this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and normal now. I'm going to say the effective Union Hangar. And what I want to equip is B. So B is now equipped. And you'll see why that's so good in just a second here. Okay? And then I'm going to say effect, and then that's going to allow me to go ahead and normal summon. So I go ahead and normal. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all 3. So all 3 are gotten rid of here. That also gets rid of this. And that's going to break out Decode Talker. So then Decode Talker comes out, and then the effect of Drake, Buster Drake going, I get another Union card to my hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab A. So as you can see, I've already on my first turn got out Decode Talker, which is super, super useful, okay? And then I've also got, still in my hand, 3 cards. I mean, that's pretty good, I feel, for already what I've done. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and banish my 3 to break out ABC Dragon Buster. So, and then I would pass for turn at this point, because I've got ABC Dragon Buster on the field. I also have Decode Talker on the field. And then if they try to do something, I can wait for a key play, use ABC Dragon Buster's effect. So let's say I do that. Let's say I go ahead and I get rid of a card using ABC Dragon Buster's effect. Now on my opponent's end phase, this is very important, you get rid of this, because it's a quick effect that you can get rid of it, and then you're going to special those back. Okay, so you special those cards back to the field. Okay, then when I draw for turn, I have got tons that I can work with now to make a ton of stuff happen and wreak havoc on my opponent's turn. Okay, so for example here, I can overlay 2, and then I can go ahead and play Diamond Dire Wolf, detach the material, then target one of the cards they still have on their field and destroy my own. Then, off my draw, I got Transmodify. I play it, go to the deck, and then that's where I'm going to go ahead and special summon Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier's effect goes off, giving me another one to the hand, because it just says when it's special summoned. So then that comes to my hand. These cards are in the grave. Okay? And then what ends up happening now, I haven't used Galaxy Soldier's effect from my hand. So I can actually go ahead and I could discard a card to special a Galaxy Soldier in defense. Now I'm ready to go ahead and overlay. And what's great about this, that's going to allow me to go ahead and overlay for Cyber Dragon Nova, which then leads to Infinity. I could activate the effect and absorb a card that they might have. And then I can go ahead and banish my 1, 2, 3. And then that's going to give me ABC Dragon Buster to the field. Now they're even in more trouble because of the field that you've got here. So that's one example of a hand that you could have with this deck. I'll show you another sample hand now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to another sample hand that you guys might have here. So I'm going to draw my 5 cards. Oh, good. Okay, I thought I was in trouble for a second there, but I'm not. So if you take a look, here's what my hand looks like. So not a bad hand at all. Now, one thing I want to say before you do this, the first thing that I would make sure that I would play is the Union Hangar and the Brilliant Fusion before the Pot of Desires. Because if you won one Gem Knight card, you could banish it. So I'm going to play Union Hangar. I'm going to activate Union Hangar's effect. And then that's going to go ahead and give me one of the Union cards I need. I always go with A, just because its attack is 1900, which is really good. So I definitely like having that card ready to go. All right. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play my Brilliant Fusion. And now I already have a way to make ABC Dragon Buster. So again, I send C, because I really don't use C's effect a lot. And then I'm going to send my Gem Knight Garnet to the grave as well. Okay. And then that's going to go ahead and make for me now the fusion monster that's so good that allows me to special summon, or to normal summon twice. Okay. Honestly, I just want to have another way to get a material to the grave, which is fantastic. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play Pot of Desires. Okay, so I go ahead and I banish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then I draw 2. Oops, 2. Okay, so then let's see what we banished there. Okay, so we've got Terraforming. Ooh. Yeah, some good cards, but not detrimental to what we're doing. So those are banished. Okay. And again, I have not normaled yet, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to normal summon, special summon off Silver Gadget, and then Union Hangar's effect kicks off. And again, the card that you want to equip is B. So I equip B, which is really helpful. Okay, and remember, I still have another normal summon that I can do this turn, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so now because I have 3, I'm going to do what I did last time. I'm going to send all 3 to the grave. Okay, this effect will go off in just a second because it's going to go to the grave too. That's going to get me Decode Talker to the field. All right. Then because Buster Drake goes to the grave, his effect goes off, I get to add a Union card to my hand. Okay. And so the card that I'm going to add is another A. So I go ahead and add that to my hand. And again, because of ABC Dragon Buster's effect, there's never waste with this deck. It's always going to be super efficient, very easy to always use. Now, off my draw, I did get a Solemn, and so that's really nice. So I'm going to set down my Solemn. Now I'm going to go ahead and banish my 3. Oh, and by the way, I don't have another B except this one. So that's banished now. Okay, and then that's going to go ahead and give me ABC Dragon Buster to the field. Okay, now at this point, I've got a really good field because I have my Solemn to stop my opponent's card effects that might get them going. And I have ABC Dragon Buster's effect to banish a card on the field. So let's say they try to do something on their turn. I wait for the right time to activate my Solemn. I take my damage. Then they go ahead and they try to use their effect. So I'll go ahead and discard. Okay, and then they've used their effect. Now again, on my opponent's end phase, I go ahead and I tribute this. See, this is what's so important to this deck. And I didn't do this last time, and I'll show you a play I missed. Then you want to make sure that you special all of these to the field, and then the effective Union Hangar kicks off again to where you can actually get another card equipped from the deck because it's once per turn, and the card did hit the field, activating your field spell. Okay, so now it's my turn, so I go ahead and I draw. Okay, now I got a Brilliant Fusion, but it's worthless, at least how I would normally use it, but because of ABC Dragon Buster, there's no waste, so I never draw a dead card, quote unquote. So what I can do now is what I did before, guys. I can go ahead and I can start doing some important plays here against my opponent. So let's say that they did get a good card out. I can normal that card. I don't have the ability to use Union Hangar's effect, but what I can do is I can go ahead and overlay, and then I can go ahead and if I wanted to make Utopia, if I wanted to, I could do something like that. Or I could even go into Diamond Dire Wolf again, destroying itself and then other cards on the field. Then if I wanted to, I could go into number 101, Silent Arc, absorb one of their cards, I believe by detaching 2, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, so yeah, detach 2 materials. So I could absorb a special summon monster they might have. And then I could also just banish my cards again. So 1, 2, 3, I banish them. And then I get my other ABC Dragon Buster to the field. Okay, and then at that point, you should have game. You really should. Like let's say on their next turn, I go ahead and I activate ABC Dragon Buster's effect. I banish a card they try to bring out onto the field. Magically, somehow, they find a way to get rid of all my cards. Let's say that they actually do that, okay? And then they build a board, all right? But there's no negation to their board. So I draw for turn. Remember, I still have this in the hand. So what I can do is I can go ahead and special summon this card by banishing all the light machines that I have. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. So that makes this attack 3,000. All their cards, notice it says all. This card is just so good. If I can zoom in there for you. It says send all other monsters, not all their cards, but all their monsters. And then after that, you could attack for game. Okay, so it's an extremely last-ditch play, but it's very effective. So guys, that's the deck profile. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did like this video and other deck profiles I've done, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. I definitely would appreciate it. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments in case you think I missed something or I was spot on with something. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.